Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Olympic View Audio YouTube channel. On today's video, we are going to do a POV mix of a tune that I'm working on. I'm going to start with everything off, all the gear off, everything like that. And we're just going to kind of work our way through the mix, dialing in the gear, dialing in the compression and EQ and all that stuff. Before we get started, don't forget to check out the links in the description, which will take you to my website, which has all my mixing and mastering services, along with my Instagram, where you can see behind the scenes of what's going on in the studio. If you like this video, drop me a like and a subscribe, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you know when I release new videos. So let's get into it. So I'm just going to play the tune straight from the top. So it's a cool little tune. So now let's go dive into the mix bus processing. So on the mix bus, everything goes out of the Army converters into the Orbit 5057 Rupert Neve Design summing mixer. From there, it goes into the Audioscape G bus, then into the SSL Ultraviolet EQ, and into the SPL Big. And finally, it comes back in on the Dangerous Convert AD+. So let's start to engage some gear and dial in some mix bus processing. So there we go. So we engaged the red silk on the Rupert Neve Designs Orbit 5057 for some saturation. Dialed in just about 2 dB of compression on the mix bus. We have a 1 dB boost at 70 on the ultraviolet, and then a 1 dB boost at 20 kilohertz on the ultraviolet. And then we have a little bit of stereo widening from the SPL Big. I also engaged the transformer on the AD convert plus, which added a little bit of more saturation to it. And I really hear it in the low end in particular. So let's keep going. Let's add a little drum bus processing. For the drum bus, we're going to be using the T-Comp, which is a solid state vari-mu compressor, and then the T-Equalizer 2, which is a equalizer, which I'm going to be using in mid-side for the drums. And for this track, as you can see, there's only a stereo drum track and a shaker track. So we're just going to kind of treat this as drum bus processing rather than any individual processing. Along with that, we also have the SSL channel strip 2, which we're going to be using before we go out of the box on the drums. So now let's head down to the bass. So on the bass track, we're going to be using, again, the channel strip 2 by SSL. Then we're going to be going out of the box into the WA-LA2A, and then finally into the Pultec 2BQ. And actually, we're going to hit a little bit of saturation before we hit back into the box. We're going to hit the 542 tape emulator as well to give that bass a little bit more grit to the sound. Take out the saturation. Take out the EQ. Take out the compression. Add them all back in. Now let's add them all back in. adds a little bit more grit to the sound of that bass. Now let's move on to our acoustic guitar. So again, for the acoustic here, we're doing same thing, SSL channel strip 2. We're going out into the DBX 560As and then into the Harrison 32 EQs. Here we go on this acoustic guitar. So this mix is starting to come together nicely, and let's move on to our final instrument to process, which is going to be the synth. And for the synth, we are going into the Alicia Expressor, and then from there into a pair of 1073s. And of course, to start out the synth chain, before we go out of the box, we are going into the Channel Strip 2 by SSL. So here we go. So our EQ and compression is out. Let's put it all back in. Just adds this beautiful shimmer to the sound. All together now. There's just so much more sparkle on that synth. Now let's add some effects in there and some parallel compression and dial in this mix just a little bit more. Here we go. Okay, let's dial in our parallel compression. For this, I'm using the SL G-Bus plugin. Let's mix that in. Here we are from the beginning with no effects on there. Let's add them in. Just adds a little bit more depth to the sound. So guys, again, if you like this video and you want more videos like this, drop it down in the comments below. If you do something differently, let me know down in the comments as well. I'd love to start a dialogue on that. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're interested in my mixing services, head over to my website at olympicviewaudio.com and head over to that Instagram and give me a follow there too. If you have any other questions, drop them down in the comments and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.